Hey student, watch this video and learn the best way to learn vocabulary in English so that you can achieve English fluency and better understand and talk to native or non-native speakers in English. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on another English lesson. If it's your first time here, I invite you to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my weekly videos, alright? Now let's dive into the content. Well, before I do that, I want to invite you to download my free ebook as well. The link is in the description of this video. All you gotta do is register your best email and then you will be able to download this really nice ebook where I share 5 different strategies to help you better understand and talk to native and non-native speakers in English. Now, guys, the first thing I need to tell you is different people, different ideas, okay? The best way to learn vocabulary so that you can achieve English fluency and better understand people around you and communicate more easily, more clearly, will have to be aligned with 3 important elements, okay? The elements are your individual learning style or your learning channel, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on, okay? Your schedule. It doesn't matter where you are right now, okay? You will need to sit down and think about the time you have to dedicate yourself. And no, you don't need to spend long hours studying vocabulary in order to learn it, okay? And finally, you will need to have a clear vocabulary goal setting. So you need to be very clear with the goals you have, with the vocabulary you want to learn. Now, studying vocabulary like crazy will not really make you a fluent speaker, magically. It will not help you understand native speakers either if you promise yourself to learn 100 words every week. That's not going to happen, okay? There is a difference between knowledge and understanding. And I was reading this in a book for teachers and methodology. This book emphasizes the importance of helping students understand new information. So perhaps right now you study a lot of vocabulary, you believe you know a lot of vocabulary, but you haven't truly understood that vocabulary. That's why I invite you to think about this. Studying long lists like crazy will not make you a fluent speaker. Okay, now vocabulary is important to help you achieve that, but at the end of the day, this will not magically make you understand native speakers if you don't understand the difference between knowledge and comprehension and understanding, okay? Now, your individual learning preference or your learning style, okay? This is how you receive information, okay? That's basically how you receive information. Let's picture your brain as a destination, okay? What's the best way to get there? How can new information travel faster to your brain? So by understanding your learning preference, your learning channel, it'll be easier for the information to get to your brain and stay there. Some people, for example, need to write something several times to be able to remember it. Other people hate writing and cannot really connect to this kind of practice. By understanding how you learn faster and how you learn information, it'll be easier to learn vocabulary and really understand how to use the words you study, okay? Now, let's take a look at the most common learning styles, okay? We have here auditory learner. I am an auditory person, okay? Now, auditory people, I'm not crazy. Don't think that. They often talk to themselves, okay? These are the people that you will see as you walk down the street and they will be like moving their lips. They're thinking, they're talking to themselves. And sometimes they are not moving their lips quietly. In many cases, they are speaking out loud. Not too loud, but they are quietly speaking things, okay? These are the people who love to read things out loud. Now, for these people, it may be difficult to just read, okay? They may have trouble reading and writing activities. For them, verbalizing information is the best way to go. So here, one thing I like to do when I'm studying, because as I told you, I am an auditory learner. When I am studying new vocabulary, I create audio flashcards. So I use an audio diary app. And there I create my flashcards. So I make lists of words that I'm studying, that I am learning, that are important to me. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And then I practice describing those words, creating examples, but everything orally, because I know that this is the best way for me to learn new words, for me to understand new words, okay? Visual people, they can be linguistic, visual linguistic learners, or they can be visual spatial learners. Visual linguistic learners are connected to written language. They learn by writing things down. Reading and writing works really well for these people, okay? This is the kind of strategy that you should adopt. And how do you know your learning style? Start paying attention to the things you do every day, to the way you do things at work, to the way you do things at home. How do you learn something, okay? How did you learn things at school more easily, more quickly, more efficiently? That's probably the same way you're going to learn the language, okay? The English language or any other language. It'll be easier for you to understand what kind of learner you are, what your preferences are. Okay, now visual spatial, on the other hand, doesn't really enjoy written language, writing things down. They like to see things, okay, images and visual materials, videos with a lot of images for them to see. This can be a negative thing too, because they can get very distracted, all right? These are the people who can visualize things very easily, and they remember faces and images more easily, okay? Now, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit the like button. I really appreciate it when you do that. And if possible, share this lesson with your friends. I believe the information in this video can really help other people who are trying to improve their English vocabulary so that they can speak more clearly and understand native or non-native speakers in English, okay? Now, kinesthetic people, they touch, they move, they can't stay still. This style can also be divided into two types, movement and touch, okay? These people will lose their focus if they can't move, if there is no external stimulation. If there's no movement, it'll be very hard for them to watch. So how do you know you're that kind of person? Well, if you're here watching my lesson and you're moving around, maybe cooking, maybe doing something because you can't stop, well, that's an indication, okay? Doesn't mean you are, but start paying attention. I have a student who, every time we're having a lesson, he can't stop moving. He's always moving something, okay? He's moving and he's moving his hands because he's a kinesthetic person. These kind of people can't stop. And that's a good thing, okay? Because if they do, they will get bored and they will lose interest. But this is also the kind of person that needs a lot of breaks. You cannot go on for many hours. You can't study for 2-3 hours without breaks. You need more breaks than other people. So if you're gonna study for 2 hours, let's say 1 hour, okay? You need 3 breaks, maybe 4. I am not exaggerating. This is difficult for you guys. Accept it and have more breaks during your study time, okay? Now, schedule, the second element I told you guys about. Establishing a schedule will help you stay on track, okay? Most people in my online program, in my academy, the Real English Academy, give me this feedback that the Real English Academy really helps them with a schedule so that they can stay consistent, so that they know what to do, because it's all there. They have a schedule, they know what they gotta do. Now, doing that on your own is a little bit more challenging, and this is exactly what is going to help you succeed. You also need to understand the importance of delaying gratification. Yes, what is that? Our brain hates that. Our brain wants the results yesterday, not now, yesterday. What are you talking about? Today? That's too late. So, Working to achieve your long-term goal of becoming a fluent speaker, of improving, mastering words in English, will go against your brain nature. I repeat, this is your brain nature. This is everybody's brain nature. We don't like delaying gratification, okay? We want the results now. We want to feel good now, okay? And because of that, when you set up a schedule for your short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals, your brain will not really like that, okay? However, by setting up this schedule and every week following it, it'll be easier to manage your brain's constant inner desire to quit. Because if you never have a schedule, you have a plan, okay? You want to be fluent by the end of the year. That's great. I want to be fluent, and you can do it. I believe you can do anything you want, but you have to work hard. You have to do your part, okay? Now, you do that. You have your plan. But after that, you don't have any consistent planning, like what exactly you're going to do, the steps, what kind of exercises, what kind of practices, what days. This is not clear. So it'll be very easy for your brain to manipulate you and make you quit and make you want to give up, because it'll tell you, look, but we have no idea what to do. Come on, this is a waste of time. You studied twice last week. This week you have studied once. This is clearly not working. So let's go and let's watch Netflix. Yo. By having a schedule, it'll be easier to fight your brain's nature. You will never change that, okay? I repeat, I had the same challenge. We can't change that, but we can manage it. And having a schedule will help you become stronger, okay? Does this mean you have to study every day? No, absolutely not. You have to be consistent. That's what you need. You don't need to study like too much. You just need to be consistent with your schedule. And your schedule needs to allow you to follow what I like to call my SPR system. Study, practice, review. So I don't know how you're going to do this because I don't know how much time you have, okay? I don't know what your schedule is like. I don't know when you go to school, when you go to work, when you go to the gym. So I can't really give you a recommendation on that. You need to sit down and think about it, okay? But what is the SPR system? No, this is not something I got in a book. This is something that I put together. It's not really a method. It's just something, it's just a sequence that I like to tell my students. Study, practice, review. So you need to have these different moments in your routine. Studying, really getting down to business, checking examples, checking definitions, writing them down if you like to write them down, recording your voice, speaking explanations. That's study time. Practice time. How can I include this in conversations? How can I use this word? It's time to practice. I already know what it means. So how can I create examples, real life examples, things connected to my life? That's practice time. 3-4 days later, well, I learned amazing things, but did I review them? It's important to review because our brain is a little lazy. It takes a little bit of time to connect with the new information. That's why creating real life examples will make it easier for your brain to remember, because when you create real life memory, things connected to things that happen in your life, you create stronger memories, okay? You need these 3 elements to make a strong schedule, a strong vocabulary practice schedule, okay? Some students worry too much about learning more and more and more words, and they end up not remembering any of them, okay? That's why it is important to follow this system, the SPR system. You don't need to call it this system, okay? I like it. How many days are you going to study? How many days are you going to dedicate to each part is totally up to you. Be realistic with how much time you have, okay? Don't go bananas and decide to study 6 times a week and then you can't keep your end in the bargain. Your brain is going to tell you, hey, you can't do it. Maybe you should just quit. So be realistic, okay? Today I study pronunciation and accent, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. It depends on the week, but it's never less than that. Either 2 or 3, it depends on the week, but never less, okay? Because I know all about the importance of being realistic with my schedule. And I'm just talking about pronunciation and accent. I haven't told you about vocabulary, about grammar, reading, listening, because I have to practice all of these guys too, okay? The next element is clear vocabulary goal setting. Students fail to improve their vocabulary level and finally achieve English fluency because they don't give the necessary importance to having a clear vocabulary goal. Why am I gonna learn this phrasal verb? Because teacher Prix told me to? No, vocabulary goals need to be connected to contextualized conversations. New words should help you explain your opinions. They need to help you explain your opinions, your desires, your fears, your preferences, etc. So many other things that are important to you, okay? Don't focus on the word, focus on a conversation. The words you need to talk about that subject will come, and they are the ones you should study, learn, practice, and review. So think about the things you want to talk about and start having a mental conversation. What words don't you know? These are the words you have to study. This is the best way to learn English vocabulary. Other than that, my friends, thank you so much. Share this lesson, and I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Bye-bye.